I was impressed for a 13-liter engine. A lot of the trucks that we operate have 15-liter and some larger engines in them. And I was impressed that the 13-liter engine held its own. It took me a little while to get used to the RPM range and how the engine sounds. It's very quiet. And once I kind of got the hang of what it was going to do and how to shift it, it drove a little easier. But I was impressed that the truck drives and handles very well.
Fuel economy is the number one concern for our fleet right now. It seems like it had a lot of torque, and like I said, when we were releasing it and the engine brake was coming on, it was holding us back real well.
But the power of the truck was there. The quietness of the truck was just amazing how quiet this truck was. And I came around the backside, downshifting and everything, and the power is there, this MP8.
Once we got up to freeway speeds and it got in high gear, it accelerated and continued to climb in speed. I was quite surprised for the wind we have and the uphill grade.
We've had Mack trucks for years and wanted to see how the 07s perform in relation to the particulate filters. And it seemed to do very well.
I wanted to see the response on the engine, the noise level in the cab, the power pulling away. It all seemed to be real good.
Well, I wanted to see how the engine handled or performed, and it's very quiet. I've not been in one of the new 07 engines up until now. Very quiet. There were four of us in the cab, and carry on a conversation very quietly. The engine handled well. It responded well. It accelerated in a pretty strong headwind also at the same time. It accelerated and held right up to the 65 mile an hour and stayed there. It held it well.
That I was amazed that I didn't notice the inclines until the transmission downshifted, because the roads are so long and straight, you don't tend to see the incline. But with no loss of power, and I think we were at like 68,000 pound gross, and there was no hesitation in power whatsoever, which was nice.
Very comfortable, very car-like. Upon starting it, very quiet. And as we pulled onto the freeway, it accelerated very nicely, and just a very quiet, comfortable ride.
Very comfortable. It was a lot of room. Everything was very accessible. Just like driving my car.
The truck's laid out nice. It really is. It's very good. Dash is good.
Everything was ease of reach. The controls, the heating and air conditioning system, the air conditioning was working very well. Where 2 miles down the road I had to turn it down because in this heat and this sun, the cab was quite comfortable. And what I liked was the ease of reach for the driver. I mean, there's enough distractions in our area with traffic and congestion that we want the driver to be able to reach for the controls, know where they are without looking for them. And that's what I noticed on this right away.
I see some driver-friendly options in this cab that we didn't have on the CXs or the CXNs, which I think are all improvements.
Such as
the adjustable of the adjustments of the steering wheel, the steering column, the seats. I think the way the dashboard's spread out is a lot better improvement. I see some small items that are more driver-friendly. The controls are all manageable. When you're going on the road between the steering wheel, the gauges are set up in the right locations. Those are your most important gauges right in the center there.
The ergonomics, of the trucks and how that's advanced. To me, it was comfortable. It wasn't difficult. I'm taller. The shifting of the seat to the back was great, so there was lots of leg room, and the handling of the steering wheel was fine. So.
Very quiet inside, smooth riding, to a very good throttle response.
I was feeling very, very comfortable. Headroom, elbow room, the distance between my chest and the steering wheel, visibility of the gauges. It's come a long way.
There's a term that we use in the brick industry. It's called belly room, and I think I exemplify that very well. But we have some guys that, if you can believe it, are a lot bigger than I am, and they need that belly room where the steering wheel is. And this has been a very big contention for us over the years because these guys are on the road a lot. And being able to sit back and be comfortable in that seat and make the right steering and not be over the steering wheel really means a lot to the drivers. The inline pedals, they are a creature comfort also, but they're a safety feature because they don't have to take their eyes off of the road to look down to where to pick up the foot and put it on the pedal. It becomes a natural just to flow, move that foot from one pedal to the other.
The ergonomics of the cab it's very comfortable. to drive. I mean, I've never driven that truck before, and by the time I got off the parking lot, I felt pretty comfortable driving it. Ride's good. The instruments and controls are laid out very well. There's a lot of thought that's gone into that cab, and I've always been impressed with Mack's cab, and it just seems like the layout of that is very well done.
I don't think that there was a doubt of the handling. We just took delivery of 3 Granites in the east over the last 4 weeks, and we're taking delivery of another 3 next week. So we're familiar with, or I'm familiar with the truck, and it handles superbly, and we're really happy.
The steering is very tight, short turning radius. It reacts real quick. It's nice and smooth. It steers nice, handles nice. It seems to hold pretty good, even though it's a loose gravel road. It holds good.
On the Pinnacles here, the turning radius was a lot better, especially in the sleepy application with the longer wheelbase.
What was your impression on the drive of the vehicle about the handling and the capabilities?
Seems to handle real well.
Moving the axle back like we do, it makes it easier for us to maneuver into those tighter areas in the subdivisions.
Handled very well. It was very, very smooth, very easy to drive. Enjoyed driving it.
Been impressed overall with the overall maneuverability of the vehicle, the turning radius on all the vehicles, and just ride quality and handling were outstanding.
It's a nice chassis. It's a good sounding engine. I think it's a good product for Mack.
These trucks help because they're building them just the way we spec them. You know, no vibration, no noise, comfortable seats, good steering radius, everything that'll get them through the metropolitan New York city traffic and get them home safe. And that's what we're looking for.
It's a good truck. Rides nice. I think the drivers will accept it.
I see a future with the Pinnacles, and I'm 100% Mack fleet as it is now, and we're going to grow with Mack, and I definitely think that they're going in the right direction.
Very nice unit. I'm sure the drivers are going to love them.
It appears that it's laid out fairly well. I didn't get a lot of time to really go through it, but I look at routing and clipping. How are the wire looms routed and clipped? How's everything supported? Are things rubbing? And it looks like a nice, clean install. So I was happy to see that.
It was a great impression, and it was. Years ago, Myron Granberry and I, Robert Howes with Bunch Trucking, got us up to be on that advisory board, and we went up and helped. And it's good to see years later, after having been on that board, that Mack took us seriously. Took the drivers and the owners and also the people who invest in Mack, that they took us seriously about the safety issues and about the creature comforts and also the efficiencies of the equipment. And they took our advice, and not only did they listen, but they put it to use and made a very nice series of trucks